Hello there. My name is Jonathan, also known as Dai Womprad Dai. You have found Binging the Force with the Rocky Mountain Fan Force. So this is a place where Star Wars friends get together, rewatch Star Wars shows, and digress doing it. So you can find us on Facebook. We are at Rocky Mountain Fan Force. And you can find us here on this show and on a multitude of platforms that you can see via the scroll. There it is, just like magic. It shows up Facebook, Anchor.fm, and on YouTube. So I'm proudly joined for tonight's episode by Michael, James, Dale, and our special guest star.
Yeah, and so I'm really sick right now, but I'm still going to be the producer dude and push buttons, but I'm going to be subbed by my mini-me, so I'm going to drop off and bring on my daughter.
See you later, Michael. Thanks for helping out.
Thanks, Michael.
Hi.
And welcome. Welcome, Michael's daughter, Lily. Thank you for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
So today we are watching The Mandalorian, still during our binge of The Mandalorian. In season 1, we are looking at episode 3 called The Sin. So before we get started, though, just want to check in with our panel, see how everybody's doing. And I have a question for y'all. So as we see in this episode, I assume people who are watching and have probably watched it already. We see in this episode that The Mandalorian seems to belong to a cult, kind of spin-off of the main Mandalorians who we met during Clone Wars, right? If you've seen Clone Wars, you know that they're like kind of two different factions, but they took off their helmets, they fight, who should be in charge of Mandalore, all that good stuff. But this group that our Mandalorian friend is a part of, it's very orthodox, right? They don't take off their helmets. They're very strict as far as their rules. They have their mantras that they chant. So very orthodox group, right? So I was curious for each of you, when is a time that you have found yourself with a group of friends like who were outcasts or kind of different from other people, or maybe even found yourself in a cult? So I'll go ahead and start. I can go ahead and kind of delve into my personal life a little bit. So I, with my wife, we investigated Dianetics, which is a chapter of Scientology, right? That's not the super religious part of Scientology, more the kind of like learning about yourself and, meditation and classes and some of those kinds of things. But like, it wasn't something that you really talk to other people about, right? Because if you said Dianetics, they'd be like, oh, Scientology. Oh, you believe in like space aliens formed the universe, right? Or something like that. So it was a little strange to kind of, you don't realize it at the time because you're like, oh, I'm just learning about myself and trying to be a better person. But you still kind of realize, maybe I'm a little different than other people and how things are going. What about you guys?
I'll go next.
Cool.
There's this friend group I hang out in at school, and we always sit at this one table, separate from every other table. And I feel like a outcast among the outcast group.
Really?
Because they're all into like FNAF and Wings of Fire, and I'm not into either of them.
Is Wings of Fire, that's like a book series, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
A book series about dragons.
Makes sense. Wings, Fire, yeah. So you don't feel like you kind of even fit in with that group, huh?
No, especially since there was another person in their group with the same name as me, and she kind of left the group, and she did something like rude to the group. So now they hate her, but now I'm here. And so I kind of feel like I'm replacing her.
That's a weird situation for sure, right? Yeah, because you want to come in fresh, but you don't want to have somebody else's baggage. Yeah, that does sound frustrating. Yeah. Dale, how about you?
You got me thinking about, as a kid, visiting a Lutheran church for the first time and then visiting a Catholic church for the first time. And just like their worship services were very different from what I was used to. Like they had, they knew when to sing certain songs, they knew when to stand up, sit down, and what to repeat back after the leader had said different things. So that got me thinking back to that. And granted, I didn't have to wear a special helmet when I attended those churches, but it ended up not being the group for me. And I found other places to go and hang out where I was more comfortable and got to wear my own helmet, I guess.
What religion did you grow up in, if you don't mind me asking, that you're familiar with?
Yeah, sure. Mostly Methodist, and then
The laissez-faire of the Christian religions. That's what I was in as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and then as an adult, more attending just non-denominational. Where it's kind of like we're all rooting for the same things here, but there's less rules about it. So, which much like the sect of the Mandalorians, I guess.
Yeah, I mean this group of Mandalorians, they're like, I mean, if I had to do kind of real world analogy, they're like the Orthodox Jews, right? Like they are super specific in how they do things and just how they present themselves and how they communicate amongst each other, and that like you said, that tight knit community that they have. So
it's kind of like the Hasidic version of the Mandalorians.
Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess they don't have any group meals because they all have to eat alone. Like the one says, "Oh, we only go out one at a time." It's like their social world must be very, very unique, I guess.
Very non-existent.
Yep. Yeah. There was like, I forget what the name of the movie was, but there's this movie where it was never mind, it's a TV show where it was that girl who was like in a cult and she was underground and she didn't interact with society. So when she finally came out, it was like bizarre that she's learning like how society works, right? Anybody remember that show?
Kimmy Schmidt or something like that?
Yes, unforgettable, unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
That's that should be the unbreakable Mandalorian apparently. Yeah. James, how about you?
I was raised in the Lutheran church, and I've explored a little bit. I've gone out to like a Muslim mosque and a Buddhist temple. So that was just very interesting to see how people differently, express their religion and stuff. And it kind of opened my eyes to new ideas and to new perspectives and thinking a little bit differently about thinking differently spiritually. Yeah.
Did you ever feel like you were an outcast when you were kind of exploring those or another time in your life?
Yeah, you feel like kind of a fish out of water, right? You feel kind of like you don't know what to do. You don't know exactly. You're just kind of taking you're taking it all in, and you don't know exactly. Are you doing the right things? Are you? So yeah.
Yeah, and those are tough to come into as an adult, right? Like you see the Mandalorian. I mean, he joins this when he was really young. Still. What was he? Probably like 8, 9 years old, something like that. What we see in some of these flashbacks.
When he was rescued,
So he was able to go into this Mandalorian sect as a child, learn all the rituals and language, and not feel like he's coming as an adult trying to learn this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll put a kind of, if I can get through this congested, put a fandom slant on it. I mean, when I was kind of looking for groups to be a part of, kind of related to the Rocky Mountain Fan Force, is before I went to my first Fan Force meeting. And bear in mind, I'm a fan of fandom, so I kind of float among lots of different, fandom groups and stuff like that, and all sorts of different. I mean, I'm interested in lots of different shows and movies and stuff like that. So I'm also a really big Star Trek fan, and I had actually tried going to a Star Trek group meeting, and I have tons of friends who are in Star Trek groups, so no malignment there. But I showed up to a meeting at a public restaurant of a Star Trek group, and everyone showed up in like actual Starfleet shirts and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here.
Like, this isn't quite my speed. Not what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of life, right? Sometimes you're a part of a tight-knit group who has their own kind of rituals and rules, and I mean, I don't think the Rocky Mountain Fan Force necessarily is. I think there's other Star Wars fandom groups that are more along the spectrum, of how strict they are, or the language, or the types of groups that they are more in the end of,
Yes.
the Mandalorians we know in this show. And then, I think we're more on this end of the spectrum. So, because
We're more along the non-denominational, kind of come as you want. You can
Very
wear a
good.
costume, or just to let people know about our group. We don't typically show up in costumes and stuff. We just kind of come as we are and just talk about Star Wars and show our love for that. So
that is exactly right. That's true. Yeah, we'll get more into RMFF itself after we watch and talk about some things that, if any of you are interested out there who are watching this, listening to this, if you want to learn more about our group, our non-cult group, hopefully, then you are welcome to join us. But let's go ahead and dive right in here to Chapter 3, The Sin. So we got a recap here from last week, learning about the Mandalorian. found the child, his travels and trials and tribulations to get back. So I went camping with my parents when I was a kid, right? And then this kind of reminds me a little bit about going out, with your kid and camping and just trying to make the best of a situation if things go horribly wrong, right? Thankfully, I didn't know anything as bad as this.
Right. You didn't have to discover you had this secret skill to make animals hover in the air.
Well, it would have been awesome if I did.
Yeah.
Baby Yoda is also joining us via Lily. He's a fan of his own material.
Yeah.
Oh yes, when we left our hero, he had just fixed up his ship, and we're hoping it's spaceworthy.
Looks like it. I mean,
The
it's a Star
repairs
Wars
were done
staple,
okay.
right? You've got a ship, the beginning of whatever you're watching, ship's landing.
This is my favorite part of the entire series.
Which part?
when he gets up and
This part right here, the ball.
plays with the shift knob or whatever.
Yeah, just like any toddler, I've got a kiddo. I've got my own child, and when he was 3-4 years old, he was exactly like this. What can I get into?
Yeah, I'm just gonna say, any toddler, they don't stay put.
I have a little brother. I was 3 when he was born, so I had to deal with a toddler. I just don't remember it much.
I'm sure he's getting into your stuff. I want that. What's this? Can I play with that?
Yeah. Mostly what he wants to do is just play Legos with me.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know if the child wants to play with the Mandalorian here, though. Let's just play with stuff. The shiny, flashing lights.
Yeah, I don't know what's so appealing about the shifter knob. Is it the shape? It's like, oh, spheres. I never get to have spheres.
I'm guessing because they're shiny.
I think it's probably because children always want to play with balls. And it's in the shape of a ball.
Sure.
That's true. Plus, he's like, hey, look, I'm dropping you off, kid. Don't break my stuff before I get there, right? Like he's not. He's trying to keep at bay any sort of connection he might make to the child right now.
Grogu cuteness.
Oh, too cute.
So,
In his floating bassinet.
yeah, Grief Karga lets on that the Mando filled him in about what happened at the end of the first chapter. Did he tell him that he killed IG-11? Like, and Grief doesn't let on about all the other bounty hunters. Getting also going out for the bounty on the child.
Yeah.
I get the impression they all keep their cards close to their chest, right? So I don't think Mando told them about IG-11, and the Grief, hasn't told them about the other bounty hunters, at least not yet. But yeah, this is cool. He's kind of getting his first glimpse at this larger world and all these other aliens and stuff in this town. So who's driving this floating bassinet? Is the child driving it? Is the Mando
thought-
for the remote?
Yeah, I thought it was a remote attached to Mando, but in a second here, he just floats right in.
Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe Mando's got an override, but child can kind of float it how he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or maybe
because
it's
later
just-
on, it seems like Dr. Pershing's controlling the movement of it, and we don't see him like handing him a little key fob or something, but I
Right?
think he is.
Yeah, like right here. Like Grogu just floats right in.
Maybe he's like, okay, I guess I go in now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, seeing the stormtroopers like, I'm taking over here.
Yeah.
Ah, stormtroopers.
Hours now.
We're all telling Mando, please don't give him up. Don't do it. Don't take the bounty.
Yeah.
And we're not sure if what he's going to do, right?
Well, he
I
has
was I was rewatching the episode yesterday, and I slightly got bored, but I was like, bad Mando, bad Mando.
He's got to do it for character development. He's got to make the bad choices first to make the good choices later on as character growth. This is who he is now.
25.
Do you remember in Gremlins when Billy takes that one Mogwai to the science teacher at school and he's just like jabbing him and everything else? Not qualified to really be dissecting him, but he tries.
So in this analogy, is baby Grogu Mowgli, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Both are cute. Both are cute.
I thought that was Gizmo. No?
Yeah, Gizmo's his name. Mowgli was, or what was Mowgli? Maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
That's Jungle Book. Gizmo is a Mogwai, but he takes another Mogwai to the school
Okay.
because Giz got wet, and so there was some spares to just pawn off to the science teacher.
And that's the last we see of Grogu. So the end.
Right.
That's it.
Me being a child and not getting any of the references you're saying.
Dale, you're 280.
We're Dale.
Sorry, you got to dial it back.
Tell your dad Gremlins for the next movie night.
I don't want to watch Gremlins.
Uh,
I've heard of it. I don't want to watch it.
You can tell Mando's already has some conflict and internal conflict here. He's a little unsure if he's going to do this or not, I think.
Yes, I can feel the conflict within you.
Yes.
It's just as powerful as the Force.
I mean, maybe. So why did he do this? Did he take the Beskar because he's outnumbered? I don't think he's really scared of them. I think he's just like, I'm worried about the child. I'm starting to feel connected, but job's a job.
Yeah.
I am who I am.
Yeah. And the Beskar is that important to me. I need to take. Yeah.
There's some tasty roast and how do you pronounce that? Kowakian monkey lizard, right?
oh, right. I like how he just takes this right through the marketplace, like
Yeah.
like
Somebody's
armored
a
car
robin.
guy. They're not going to take the money bag. They're not going to stop off at the food court on their way to the armored car.
Well, that looks like an ice cream maker. He's just carrying ice cream. That's all.
Okay.
Who's going to take it from him, too? I wouldn't try.
Right?
I have a feeling they all know what it is.
Oh, like all the other Mandos here?
Yeah. Even though one walks up and is like, this is Imperial Beskar.
Yeah, I mean, he's going straight to the armor, and they see that, right? Good point.
Mm-hmm. But the Mandalorian has to pick it up and examine it before getting to that conclusion, which I really don't get, because you can very clearly see the Imperial mark on it.
It's for drama's sake, I guess.
Right.
Everybody's like, ooh, what you got there? Check this out.
Yeah, we never do learn what the exact connection is between the client and the Empire, because they want different things with the child. Like he's fine with killing him, even though that wasn't the directive they received, possibly. But he's got old money there. It looks like.
But this Mandalorian has to pick it up and be like, this was made in an Imperial spellcaster. And I'm like, seriously?
Do they all actually have Beskar on, or have they just cobbled together whatever they can?
Good point.
I think they may have some Beskar, but not a lot. Like,
Yeah,
Because
because
his
apparently
looks
it's
more
very
like
hard to come
just
by.
regular metal, not as shiny as Mando's.
Yeah.
and they're not impressed. They're jealous, but they're also like, why does he get this, right? Just because he had a good score doesn't mean that,
He deserves it.
he deserves it. Right.
Yeah,
Get off my Beskar.
And like everybody's
This
like, all
guy's-
right, you two fight it out.
Yeah, he's so upset. Paz Vizsla, the infantryman here, he's so upset about like Mando doing business with the Empire. But like, what does he do for work? Does he do something? He's just an independent contractor and doesn't have to rely on the Empire's money.
But at this point, hasn't everyone relied on the Empire's money?
Right? Well, he didn't want to take it at the beginning, right? He's like, what else you got besides Imperial credits?
Yeah.
And here's where we learn like Mando culture, right? They got their mantra. This is the way.
This is the way.
Have you ever removed your helmet? Are you still one of us, basically, right?
A Mudhorn. Why am I being so dramatic today?
Yeah, do you think the armor has like a Mudhorn logo, like the pattern, and she just wants to put it on something? She's like, you want the Mudhorn, right? I'm really good at making
not a
Mudhorn.
clean kill. I don't know why I'm doing such a weird accent.
You're inspired by the Mandalorians here.
Yeah, but none of them have the accent I'm doing.
Mm.
This is the way.
Yeah, it's interesting too. He's very upfront about the way things happened, right? Like he's not going to say, "Sure, I'll take that Mudhorn signet." Like he's very honest about, Grogu was an enemy. I didn't realize it at the time, but
This is the way.
Front. Now he's got some time to daydream.
Material
I
building
feel like
montage.
This is the way should have been the title of the episode, because as far as like the sin of removing your helmet, they barely touch on it here.
Is that the sin they're referring to?
Isn't it?
Well,
The sin
I
is
don't know.
probably. They
Or
said
turning
that it
against
was.
the guild, the code of the guild.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna
I
say.
think you're on the. I think you got that one right.
I thought it might be like the sin of going against the bounty hunter guild when he goes back.
Mhm.
Spoiler for later in the episode.
Yeah.
When he goes back to go and rescue Grogu.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, because that's technically against the rule of bounty hunting. So that's a sin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
It could be
maybe
both.
there's multiple themes behind the sin. Maybe that was their intention.
So here we get some battle droids live and in person.
Yeah. When he was rescued.
Is that the first live action battle droid or super battle droid we ever see? Like, weren't the ones in the prequels all CG?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Mm-mm-mm. There are heroes on both sides, right, Dale?
Yeah, I don't think
Sometimes.
no one's cheering for the
Empire.
The super battle droid
Yeah.
to kill that family. Yeah. But yeah, it's interesting. And how many times in Star Wars do they ever do flashbacks? I think that might be the first one. Was there one in Rogue One? Rogue One was before this, right? So trying to remember, did Rogue One?
Not a lot of times, do they?
I'm surprised because that's like
For
the number
Force
one thing
Awakens
you
does
always
with
do in
remakes.
filmmaking is you add too many flashbacks.
And here he is sporting his new armor. Everybody's looking at him. He's all nice and
Fancy.
tiny.
It's like the equivalent of the biggest cowboy hat and the shiniest spurs.
He's like, I don't care about if they're impressed. All I care about is how many other people he sent on the same deal. And I definitely ran into one.
Yeah. Now that they're face to face, they kind of come clean with each other. Like, hey, what the heck? Oh yeah, we were all in on the job. We all had that little meeting with the client.
Yeah.
And Grief Karga's like language, the way he speaks is very like formal, like a mix of like formality and also like used car salesman here, right?
Yes.
Sure, that's a little bit of Carl Weathers acting there. Yeah.
Like showing off like who is this character, right? He's a guy who, you know, he's willing to do whatever he can for him personally to get ahead.
Yeah.
He's a little funny.
With Grief, it makes sense that he knows the code, he knows the rules, but even earlier, the client, like, he seems to know like that the code forbids asking follow-up questions, that Mando was out of line to ask him more. And it's weird because like if that's their rule, they're not clone troopers with the good soldiers follow orders. They should be able to think a little bit independently as a bounty hunter.
Yeah. So for that Mon Cal that he was just showing that as a bounty, anybody know what that said above it?
I missed it.
The Star Wars language there.
Basic or whatever.
I'm like, I don't think anyone can understand that.
Yeah,
except
there's
for people in Star Wars.
yeah. Just curious if it said octopus or squid or
no, it said he overused it's a trap. You can only hear it so many times, and then you're wanted.
Now that I get.
like he's still having second thoughts. I mean, this shows like the seed has been planted. We know that this Mandalorian is going to be trouble because he cares about this kid. That's harsh, man, because I think most of his bounties have probably been adults, right? But even though, you know, Grogu's been around a long time, he's still a kid, and that hurts your heart, right? Because you don't want to be
something's pulling at him,
kid to the Empire.
Right. It's
well,
one thing
it
to
goes back to him being a kid, I think, maybe part of the flashbacks.
Sure.
And,
Totally.
The ball.
Yeah.
It is a very important part.
It is. You can't shift
Like,
that thing without it.
The kid was breaking my stuff. How cute.
Yeah. It's one thing to track down the Horatio Sands for skipping out on his court date, but dealing in child trafficking, I don't think he signed up for.
Doesn't sit as well. Yeah. Especially since he lost his parents too, right? Just like you're saying.
When I was moving Grogu out of the camera, his ear got stuck on my glasses.
Those ears can get in the way.
He doesn't want to leave the camera. All right, here we go. This is at the moment. He's decided.
It's a bad moment.
It's a good moment.
Bad Mando.
Well, he's a bad man and he's a good man at the same time, I guess.
We all start cheering for him at this point. We start rooting for him. Maybe he's not
Because
so
if
bad
he left, you would not be rooting for him. You would not like this show. You'd be like, what the? Who is this guy? Yeah. Like, all right,
this is
now
about
we see
where
him.
I left off yesterday, where I got bored.
This is a good part. I like the sneaking around. It's pretty good. That looks like one of those pipes look like something from the Garbage Smasher scene, right? Garbage Masher. They look like things they were trying to prop up
Trash
like it's a Garbage
compactor,
Smasher to
yeah.
keep from getting smashed. In A New Hope. Cool. Dope. It's like you're throwing him away too. They don't care.
I made a mistake.
Here.
I have to make this right.
So it's just how evil they are. They'll throw away the baby's bassinet.
Only
They're
a
so
madman.
evil for littering.
Well, that's a good point. At least they weren't littering.
Contributing.
They put it in the trash. Put it in the dumpster.
They're contributing to global warming and landfills.
Shouldn't they have recycled it or something? That would have been
So do they ever tell us why they're extracting his blood? I can't remember. Dale, do they ever tell us why specifically? Like somebody obviously wants to obtain it because he's a Force user, most likely,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think
They know somehow.
Moff Gideon is the he that Dr. Pershing
Yeah.
refers to
Yeah.
there. So Moff Gideon is the one that wants Grogu
Yes,
explicitly
that's right.
for force testing. I believe they're looking at how they can extract, midichlorians or something
Create
that has
super clones or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I thought Disney doing it to build his what are they, the black droids that are
the Dark
Force
Troopers.
sensitive? The Dark Troopers. I thought that's what he wanted for it, to make the
Maybe.
next version
Yeah.
of Dark Troopers be Force sensitive, Force powers.
No.
Nice.
Stormtroopers.
Mandalorian.
Stormtroopers are always easy to kill.
Right.
Yeah. Well, these are in line with that for sure.
Yeah, some things
But,
never change.
I mean, based on like the blocking, the lighting, the music, like
yeah, it was really
I
cool.
want you can have the impression that this is a threat to him.
Yep.
He's going to go through and he's going to cut through him like butter, but still,
Yep.
it's dangerous. Trying to do it quiet like.
Yeah, he's breaking out all the Batman gadgets here.
Yes.
Oh,
That's what you get.
right. Oh, torture droid.
Yeah, Dr. Ball.
Please don't hurt him. I
Yeah,
don't think
why
he
would
knows
he
what to do for it,
why would he have the impression that he wanted to hurt him?
right?
He's the one that turned him in. And then Dr. Pershing says that he protected the child, but like what did he do to protect him? Did he lie to the client about something? Did
He
they
would
not
already be
keep
dead.
him alive? Did they just need the blood?
Could be.
They literally just said like a couple
Yeah,
episodes ago
maybe he
that
convinced
he was
them just to
perfectly healthy. Like earlier this episode, they said he was perfectly healthy. Then
Yeah, and now
if
he's
it
not
wasn't for
looking good.
me, he would be dead.
Yeah, I think it's like he was healthy. He came in healthy, and I think probably Dr. Pershing's orders were like to get some blood from him and just dispose of the corpse, right?
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
probably like, I'll just get some, but not a lot, not enough to kill him. That way, I can kind of like try to protect him, keep him alive as long as I can, or something, But why? Like, what would have been Pershing's end game here? Is he going to try to abscond with Grogu, or just hope Mandalorian changed his mind? I don't know.
Then why would he tell them to stay away from Grogu and be like in front of Grogu, like, hey,
Yeah.
leave him alone. Don't hurt him.
Yeah. Pershing
You're
might have been
still
struggling
standing in
what to
front
do
of
with him.
Grogu.
Yeah.
I like the zap stop. That was a good one. Dude, don't these stormtroopers know he's got the baby?
And the Beskar armor. It's like you gotta
Cover your eyes, child. You don't want to see this.
Me or Grogu?
both of you.
Both.
The jig is up. Like, I think he thought he could still take these 4, right? Like, he's trying to keep Grogu safe.
Right.
He's like, let me put that down. Let me put this down so I can take you all out.
Use them
It's an awesome
sparingly.
weapon.
Nice.
You get me one of those.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, James. Are you frequently surrounded by stormtroopers?
Mm-hmm. Never know.
You just have to adjust your wrist in a certain way, and that loads it.
Well, how do they know what the targets are? Whatever. Sci-fi.
He probably has something in his helmet.
Maybe he can
Where he's
target
just
in
like-
his helmet or something.
Hit these stormtroopers.
Right?
Or
He's targeted
something.
them in his helmet or something. Yeah.
Their tracking fobs are back online.
Uh-oh.
They all go off.
We're tracking something new now. Hey, everybody. New target.
It'd be nice if they added in a Three Stooges moment, and all these bounty hunters get stuck in the doorway, clamoring to get out.
Trip over each other.
A red Rodian here.
Red Rodian. Let Greedo come over.
They're all like, give me my money.
It probably senses something bad's happening here.
He knows something's up, yeah.
Streets are empty in the Old West, right?
And he sees the tracking fob, so he's like, uh-oh. And they're all aiming to shoot at him.
I don't think he's afraid of them necessarily.
No,
Yeah.
but
Just
he
afraid of the
knows
number of
something.
them, perhaps.
These bounty hunters are not very good. They all try to take him on, and then he kind of wastes them all.
Right.
They're not very...
Maybe
that's why they're not shooting first and asking later, because they're not that good.
Yeah. So was the client like watching what was happening through the CCTV, and then he called up Grief like, "Hey, got another job."
I don't know. Grief looked surprised, didn't he, when Kiefer was saying the Mando?
Because I'm your only hope.
I think he just like put the bounty out, and everybody got the same message.
But who sent it? How?
It was probably It was probably.
It was very quick. Yes.
The client. He's one of the few who didn't get wasted in that garage thing. Yeah. In their secret lair.
And giving them up without a fight.
He's got some good moves there.
He does.
He's planning ahead. He's like, all right, I need some cover. Stupid droid.
Stupid droid in the way.
That's why he doesn't like droids. Although it did end up helping him, which is nice.
Right. It's a good thing.
He helped him by being threatened.
True. Droid doesn't want to get blasted. Be blasting the droid. These people are smart. Don't shoot the Mando. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Grief's a smart one.
Bad droid.
Uh-oh. He's surrounded.
It's not looking good for our hero.
Can we really call him a hero at this point?
He's got
That's a good question.
All he's done is kill people.
Well, he's rescuing the child, so I think
that
he's
also killed things.
Oh, there goes your red Rodian.
Yeah. It is exciting though when he brings back the exploding feature, just like on the Jawas.
Yes.
They're gone.
Wonder how many charges or whatever he's got in that gun. There'll be some expensive electric shells he pops in there.
Oh man,
that's a bit
turned on him quickly. Jeez,
yeah,
giving him compliments a couple minutes ago.
Right.
Dude,
I mean, they brought up
this man is all business.
Yeah, they brought up the guild rules in the first chapter when IG-11 showed up to the same job as him. Like, we can't split it and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit for it, but this, it's just like everyone's out for blood here, and it's like, dude, 10 minutes ago this was like your fellow union member, and now you're turning on him.
Yeah, this is not a union you want to be part of. It's like the mafia. They have a code in the mafia, but ultimately,
because you're not.
If there's an advantage, they'll just shoot you in the back. So, criminals are criminals, always.
Yeah, there's the shots. Bunch of Mandos.
We've been waiting for that scene for years, right?
Since
It's
Empire
pretty
Strikes
cool.
Back.
It's pretty awesome.
Right.
And this is only a third episode fight.
Yes, much
Goes to show
more
you gotta turn
impressive
the
than
facts.
Boba Fett flying through the air, hitting the sail barge, and falling into the Sarlacc pit.
It's much better than that.
Yeah, that was.
We're actually hitting people. Well, they're not essentially hitting people, but they're hitting near people, and people are exploding.
That's fun too.
See
I
what
like
mean?
the
They're
laser
not
blaster
actually
machine
hitting
guns they
anyone.
have. They don't use those enough in the movies. I don't know why.
Yeah,
Seems like
Base had
everybody
it in
just
Rogue One, and it was
shot.
awesome.
I like how
Yeah.
the guy's name is just heavy infantry.
Heavy infantry.
Played by John Favreau.
Oh,
Cool.
really? Okay.
But
Yep.
what would
Paz
you
Vizsla.
call him as a skinny child?
Duh.
Hi, Grief Cargo. Do you
Hello.
want to be my cargo?
That's dangerous to get into Mando ship. He knows it better than you do.
Took it
Grief
easy.
Cargo was almost a cargo full of grief.
But you're right. He spared him. I think he shot him so he wouldn't get killed. He didn't shoot to
Or
kill.
he just shot him because he was attacking him.
Well, I mean, but he shot him, but he didn't shoot him to kill him.
Yeah, Grief's kind of a friend of his still.
Oh,
Are
he
we
shot
sure?
him right
Are
where
we
the
sure? I
Beskar
think
was.
they both
I don't
shot each
know
other.
where. I don't know.
Where the Beskar was.
Maybe not. Yeah, the Beskar
Oh,
saved
that's a
it.
good point. He did
So
shoot him in the heart. It's
maybe,
lucky the best part.
yeah, maybe.
But maybe if
Maybe
you
he did
are
shoot
right,
him.
he aimed for the Beskar because he knew it would
Love
save
this.
him.
Could
It's like
be,
a Superman moment
right?
flying out there.
He looked like he was gonna fall down though. I got
Gonna get one of
He
those.
does need a jetpack.
foreshadowing.
Right.
Here we go,
It's not going for that shiny
yeah.
ball.
He gives it back to him.
There you go, sweet child.
Aw, hi, Grogu.
Just don't lose it.
So
we got
this
Secret
episode,
Mandalorians.
this episode was nominated for an Emmy for outstanding fantasy / sci-fi costume. I guess
Oh, okay.
you know, seeing the
The
variety of
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian costumes flying.
Yeah.
That's what got him nominated, I guess.
Yeah,
A lot of
I mean, I love
interesting
the costume
creatures
for
and all the
Mandalorians.
different Mandalorians. Their different armor. They're all a little bit different. Yeah.
Some are fancier than others too,
Mhm.
right? No.
Love
Yeah,
the
looks like the
artwork.
concept art too. It's always fun to see.
It's
It.
always really cool. Love it.
And directed by Deborah Chow, who has directed many episodes since, and I believe also did the entire, or was the kind of supervising director of the Boba Fett series.
And
She
Kenobi.
did Obi-Wan, right?
Oh, was it Obi-Wan? I couldn't remember. I know there was one of them
Yeah.
that she got put in charge of.
Yeah, that was kind of a disappointment. I thought she'd do a better job, but Obi-Wan was a little bit of a letdown.
Yeah, I chalk that more up to writing than directing, though.
Yep.
Well, what did y'all think overall of this episode, at least compared to the previous two?
I don't remember the previous two very much.
You're gonna have to
What
go
did you
watch
think
it.
of this one on its own?
It's really good. I did rewatch the first one a couple weeks ago though.
Cool.
This is a great episode.
Yep.
Action, a little bit of interturmoil within Durjan, and yeah,
You get to learn about, his sect. You kind of see how much of a cult it is.
yeah. We learn a
You
lot
see how
about
they
him. Yeah.
back each other up, right?
Yep, all the flashbacks and stuff. We learn a lot about him, and
Little seeds here and there, yeah.
this has an emotional impact too, because we're not sure if he's going to leave the child behind. he has a change of heart.
Yeah, you start rooting for him.
Mhm.
You're loving the child more, not just as a cute object, but start to have personality of his own too, right?
Cute object.
Yeah, this episode seemed to do more world building than those first two episodes combined. I mean, you hate to say there's any episode in this series that's filler, but other than Baby Yoda using the Force at the end of the last episode, the rest of it was kind of filler. This was all like a lot of good dialogue, I feel like, in this episode.
Things moved on fast. Yeah. A lot happened in this. It was very plot heavy with some good character moments in it.
I wish some of these episodes would have been longer, especially this one, because it was only 40 minutes or less. I think it was 36. 36 actual watching minutes, maybe.
A touch under 40 minutes, and it went by fast. Yeah,
it went by really fast. That's one thing I didn't like when they did some of these. That I wish they would have given another 20 minutes or per episode to let it develop a little bit more. But
yeah, we've kind of talked about that in some of our episodes here before, right? As far as like length of episodes, and we still have our mental framework as far as how long episodes should be based on years of television watching with commercial breaks, and the way television was scheduled in 30-minute or 1 hour blocks. And that still kind of feeds into this, but I think that this is good when it's on Disney Plus. Then they don't have to fit into a certain length of time by like the exact second or exact minute, right? It's more like, what does the story serve, and then we're going to make sure that what we put together is the good story, regardless of exactly how long it is, right?
But I think what they did really good with, I liked Andor because the episodes were longer. And it seems like you just kind of flesh out the characters a little bit more, a little more plot development. And I mean, Game of Thrones and stuff, shows like that, they do an hour. Why can't Disney? I don't know. Seems like they cheap out a little bit.
They usually do an hour on like more special episodes, like the last couple episodes or more important episodes is what I've noticed among Disney Plus shows.
Interesting.
I guess I just want more Star Wars. So
you always want more Star Wars.
The more, the better.
Luckily, you're getting it. Mandalorian season 3 coming soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
March
1st. Yep.
March 1st. Yes, indeed. Very soon. Well, before we get there, is there anything else you guys wanted to say about this one before we start to wrap up?
One of the things Grief offered Mando was a Camtono full of spice. To me, that seems like a lot of drugs. I don't know.
I think that's a drug reference. Yeah.
Well, he's not saying use it all at once. He's not saying go to Vegas and blow through it, so to speak.
But he did say, once you come out of hyperdrive, you'll forget all about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's saying blow through it all. Grief's got a problem if that's the case.
Yeah.
He needs to call 800 number there. Yeah.
Take the spice, start up a laser light show, go into hyperspace, and you'll forget all about that kid.
Whatever the equivalent of Pink Floyd's The Wall is in Galaxy Far, Far Away. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us here this week to watch episode 3. So join us next week, everybody out there in the internet audience. We're going to do Binging the Force. We'll continue, and we'll be watching Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 4. And if you're interested in learning more about the Rocky Mountain Fan Force, our group, this Saturday is your chance. So we'll have our monthly meeting online here for 2023. It'll be Saturday, February 18th from 2 to 5 p.m. So you can find the link to that online meeting via our Facebook page. Thank you, Leah, pointing down at it. Facebook.com/Rocky Mountain Fan Force. And you can also see us this March, next month, and the Denver's St. Patrick's Day Parade, where we'll be joining all the other Denver Star Wars groups like the 501st, Mando Mercs. We'll see, if there's anybody who's looking like the Mandalorian there in the Mando Mercs group.
Yep.
Rebel Legion and more.
Featuring Grogu.
Yep.
Grogu will be joining us.
Yeah, so that's March 11th. Once we get a little bit closer, we'll be putting up information on where we're going to meet, exactly what time. Right now, I have it just 9:30, but that will change. But we'll post that in that event tab where everybody needs to meet and stuff. And if you want to still go, you need to go ahead and go to that link that will help you sign up, or you can message us through Facebook, and we'll get you put on the list to go ahead and march with the other groups along with us.
If you are a member of the Rocky Mountain Fan Force,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
So yeah, if you're interested in doing that, and you're a part of our group, we're welcoming you to do that. If you'd just like to learn more about us, come to that Saturday online meeting or any of our future monthly meetings where we post information about that on our Facebook page. So thank you very much for tuning in, and may the Force be with you. This
Always.
is the way.
Bye.
Bye.
This is the way.